morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever part of the day the video choose to reach you. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling fine. I hope you're feeling blessed. I hope you realize that you are blessed. You got to say that somebody else didn't get to see. So be blessed and relish in that. It is I, your humble host, Mr. Vaughn P, aka the Political Crash Out. Live from the Political Garage. Trying to work on some things to jazz this thing up a little bit for you guys. Put my hair up a little bit. I'm over here. Getting hot. All right, so we're going to touch on a couple topics today. I want to touch on a few things, basically some real man of your thoughts type shit today. One of the things I want to touch on is what options our youth have. When we look at our youth and what's going on and the future of them, I want to just talk about what do they perceive as their future and what some of the things that we as aunts, aunties, and uncles can possibly do to try and help these young men and young women reach their goals and reach some of the options that are out there for them and expose them to some of the options that they may not think are even options for them. I want to talk about Trump's poll numbers, how they're sliding. Trump is slipping the slide in the polls. We got lots of reasons to point at for the numbers slipping, but we're going to touch some of them things. We'll talk about this FBI investigation of James Comey and why they want to investigate Comey in the first fucking place, which really ain't no. Let me get into it. We'll get to it. We got a government shutdown coming, y'all. Another one. We're gonna talk about that. Un momento, por favor. Working on getting some things. Hopefully, we'll see some additions and some changes to the political garage in the near future. Working on getting some things in here. Put some things, make some changes around here. Where was I before I got there talking? I'll be trying. I gotta just slow myself down. We want to talk about bigotry and what soft bigotry looks like. Some people don't understand that soft bigotry is still bigotry. So we want to dig into some of the bigotry that is going on out here and touch on it a little bit. Black elitism. That's one thing that hasn't been touched on. I want to talk about that because I was reading Charles Blow's book recently, and the topic of Black elitism has come back up, and I want to dive into it a little bit. I also want to talk about rage porn. Some people don't know what rage porn is, but we're going to touch on it today and talk about what it is and how it is taking the place of the spectacles that we used to see, well, not us, that they used to see back in the day, and how it ties into hangings and slavery. And I want to wrap up with a little touching on how much the United States population relies on government and what cutting some of those government functions will actually look like and do to you. We're also going to detail what a government shutdown will look like and how that will impact your life as well. But first of all, because I don't want to spend all day talking about this dumb motherfucker, let's talk about Trump's poll numbers. Donald Trump's poll numbers have been down in his first 252 days in office. We've seen his poll numbers drop 17% in 9 months. That's not a good jump at all. Dropping down 17%, and you're already down 0.2% from last week. Because I'm on the Economist website, and they keep running total this type of stuff. So when you look at the graph and see just how steadily the decline in Trump's numbers are, and just for comparison, what you're looking at on the screen is Donald Trump's numbers. Matter of fact, let's zoom this up a little bit because I don't like the way that looks. Zoom that up a little bit. That hard, solid red line, that's Trump's rate approval numbers. The middle line, this is Joseph Biden. This is Barack Obama. This line right here is Trump's first term. This squiggly line is Trump's second term. So what we're seeing here is that Trump started his first term with higher approval numbers than he had starting his first term. Very quickly, though, by the end of March, we seen Trump catch his low approval numbers that he had in his first term. So from January, February, going into March, we seen people have optimism and say, hey, let's see what happens. I voted for Trump. Let's see what happens. Give him some time. Give him some time. Give him some time. They gave him some time. Around March, they was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. This is not what I voted for. This is some bullshit. There was a bunch of Chicos that was like, oh, we voted for Donald Trump. And now they was like, oh my God, he deported my uncle. I'm not, this ain't it. There were millionaires and tech bros that were like, yes, my portfolio. Oh God, my portfolio. Oh God, my portfolio. You got streamers like Aiden Ross that was saying, oh my God, we were on the Trump train, and then quickly, oh my God, why am I poor? Why am I poor? Why am I poor? This is real life here, people. People told us that Donald Trump had better economic policies than the previous administrations. These approval numbers don't say that. All is up here. Donald Trump's gonna be as Obama, and Biden. Now, granted, you're not gonna make everybody happy. We rarely, if ever, will see a president with extremely high universal approval numbers. But as long as those numbers are on the high end of the low scale, you're pretty much doing all right. But for you to be down here, this is asinine. This has nothing to do with people not liking him, so-called Trump derangement syndrome, or any other things that people may try and classify as reasons for disliking of Donald Trump. These approval numbers are a direct result of Donald Trump's policies that have negatively impacted the United States of America, whether it be the immigration situation. Honestly, full disclosure, I don't think the immigration situation in America really led to Donald Trump's low approval numbers. Because on both sides of the aisle, there's a conversation about the need for immigration reform in one way or another. So it's all the other stuff, because when pre-election, gas prices, grocery prices, housing prices, the economy in general was the biggest thing that people focused on. And that's what people, oh my God, Trump is better. I think Trump's economy is better. Hello. Like I said, we saw in that first 3 months, all the Trump economy is better people quickly switched. Within 3 months of Donald Trump's second term, his approval numbers were lower than any point in his previous term. Hello. These individuals quickly realized they had been hoodwinked. bamboozled, run amok. Let's see what we got. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What do we got in the chat here? He is making it harder for business owners that voted for him and poor whites that are losing benefits. I'm glad you mentioned losing benefits, because we're going to talk about how a government shutdown. The only other time we had a government shutdown was during Trump's first presidential term. Government was shut down for 36 days during Trump's first term. Now, I know everybody that follows politics or even tunes in every once in a while is used to hearing something about a government shutdown. Usually, it's just a bunch of political posturing from the left and the right until Trump's first term, and he actually let the government shut down. And according to J.D. Vance, this time around, they just may let the government shut down again. Does that seem like the administration that wants to make America first? You'll let the government shut down, the millions of people be negatively impacted. Does that seem like the part, like, make America great again? Does that seem like it makes America great again? Let America shut down? And Purple Glass Media is absolutely right. We're seeing a lot of people have buyer's remorse with these Trump approval numbers. These numbers are proof in the pudding. He went out there and he made it a whole lot harder for the farmers to get employees. He made it a whole lot harder for our merchants to get products. The tech bros, they're wondering how in the fuck they're going to get their computer chips to make their laptops and their different programs and different, products. All of this, Elon Musk had a spat with him over the EV tax credits. Although I think that was a song and dance, but still, Elon Musk is not the only tech bro that's been negatively impacted by Trump's policies. These tech bros are having enough of them. You have regular, everyday people that cannot afford groceries. I go in the store and I have this running joke in my head that normally when I go into Publix, I spend at least $20. And that's been for years. And over the years, I've noticed just how much smaller the amount of shit that I get with them $20 gets. And Trump ain't making it no easy for us. None whatsoever. These low approval numbers early on in his first term shows that America is not happy. The next indicator that will prove that America is not happy is if a blue wave takes over Congress during the midterm elections. Because if you understand how politics runs, you understand that Congress is the legislative branch. They have the power to check the president. What Congress has done, a Republican-led Congress, what they've done is they've decided to give powers that are normally theirs to the president. They've decided not to check the president when the president does certain things. One of the powers that Congress has that the president does not have under normal authority is control of the military. President Trump is not supposed to be able to tell the military to go here, go there, do this, do that. That's not in his purview of things. That's not in his wheelhouse. That's Congress' job. That's why we had to vote to go invade Iraq, Afghanistan. Not us vote, but Congress was voting. And it's a bunch of Americans that understand that a lot of stuff that Trump is doing, one, he's not supposed to be doing. Two, it's fucking up America, which is leading to these low approval numbers. Don't let anybody tell you that this is Trump derangement syndrome. What this is buyer's remorse. Because as we've seen at the beginning of Trump's administration, he had higher approval numbers than his first term. But 2.5 months in, that man had went lower than his first term. Any point, this is his whole first term. And these points, well, I don't know any point, but it took him a long time to reach this point. In his first term, it took him Jesus Christ, in April, the point he reached in April, it took him an extra 2 extra months to reach that in his first term. He accelerated his low numbers, if that makes sense. And they're trying to make it come back, but this is a bad sign. And on top of that, they want to let the government shut down. Now, if the government shut down, it's going to impact your life in ways that may not be immediate at first, but if it persists, the impact will be inevitable. Things like Medicaid, Social Security, veterans benefits, ICE, mandatory shit, that's essential shit that we need to operate is going to still operate. Postal Service, but things like, SNAP. Take for instance SNAP and assistance programs that rely. Wow, I can't highlight all this shit in one time. There we go. But SNAP and assistance programs that rely on particular government funding. This is how this will work. Let's say this week the government shuts down. It'll be after the 1st, so you'll get your October food stamp benefits. But come November, the government still ain't figured it out and ain't operating and technically open. You still may get your full allotment of benefits in November. But if December rolls around and the government still is not reopened, you may get maybe about a half payment of benefits. Because what has happened is that these social service programs have a pool of money, a bank account, a savings account, if you will, for the rainy day. And folks, it's about to rain. The government shuts down, it's a rainy day. So they'll have to go into that savings account to start paying out benefits and say, well, I hope this thing ends and wraps up quickly because I won't be able to pay everybody's full benefit next month. They probably could get through paying everybody's full benefit of social services that first month after the government initially shuts down. But 2 months into the government shutdown, you will not see full social service benefits payments. It just won't happen because the social service programs won't be operating from a government check that they're getting. They'll be operating from their savings. And just like anybody else savings, when you dip into your savings and you don't put nothing back into your savings, that savings gets smaller. So they'll be able to pay out that full benefit that first month after. But that second month after is going to be about a half payment because they're going to say, well, you know what? If I were to give people full payments, I'd be out quick. If I give people half payments, I might be able to give them another half payment on month 3. Month 4, yeah, they're going to be like, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to take care of, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be hitting you with that. So a government shutdown is never a good thing because while we are a A-rated government and we got some good credit out there, we won't be able to sustain the services for long. Now, one thing that will get cut immediately during the government shutdown is non-essential services. So you'll see park closures being closed. Museums won't be, operating at full. They might close them down, to be honest with you. They might not even do halfway capacity because, if we're being honest, a lot of the parks can operate without park rangers. So they won't mind that type of situation because you let us go out there, play basketball, and do whatever you're going to do in the park. But if something happens to you, shit, that's on you. But museums, they may have like a skeleton crew there, maybe one or two people. They may not have all the exhibits open, all the parts of the museum open. They'll start doing little funky things, if not just close the museum altogether. So you'll have situations like that where certain services won't be open. Federal loans to small business administration would cease, as would federal housing administration loans. Okay, so this is one that you may see start off with what I said, other social service programs, so they'll try and keep up. But a lot of the SBA housing and things that social services like that, there is no savings account. There is no rainy day fund. They're looking for funding, to come in. They're looking for that reoccurring funding. And if there's no reoccurring funding, they have no way to pay the people to sit in that office to do any of the work. If you follow my drift. So they don't have the money to pay the people to sit in the office to do the work, to give out the funding. Because the pool of money that they may have is one thing, but the salaries of the employees that work in that office is something totally different. So I say once again, after pointing all that out, is letting the government shut down really in the best interest of making America great again? And when we talk about making America great again, who are we talking about making it great for? Because the black youth, as I see it, let me come out of my screen here because I'm just going on the rant real quick. The black youth, as I see it, they're being left out of this idea of making America great again or make America first. And the reason I say that is because I don't see a lot of movement on the federal level or national level, really on down up to the state level. You have community-based programs, but there's not a lot of state level or higher programs aimed at giving the youth any real skills or information that's going to help them be productive members of society. I once was I got a college degree, so I was once on the college train. I was once one of those ones that believed that, hey, go get you a college degree, you'll get you a job, and life's gonna figure itself out. But when I look at the landscape of today, a part of me wants to tell certain kids to go to college and get a college degree, but a part of me wants to tell most of the youth to get the fuck off the internet and go get you a trade. Because we seeing a lot of the youth trying to figure out ways to make money off of the internet, whether it be degrading themselves on skits or social media and shit like that, or showing how, like, being on the fucking internet half fucking naked, doing stupid shit. Like, they think that the likes and the shares are going to be their future. And unfortunately, that's not true for a lot of them. I think the people that make the most are not plentiful. You're not going to see a lot of Kai Snots. You're not going to see a lot of Jake Pauls. You're not going to see a lot of Aiden Rosses. For every one Aiden Ross, you literally have 100 motherfuckers that ain't make it. You get what I'm saying? So I think the ratio of individuals that make it using the internet is way more fucked up than the ratio of individuals that will grow up to play a professional sport. I think it's like 1 in like 32 or some shit like that will, make it from playing high school football or this is some crazy fucking shit. Let me see. Only 7.3% of high school football players play college football. Now, all high school football players, the chance to reach the NFL is 0.08%. That's the point. That's the chance they got to making it to the NFL. I think the chance of becoming a millionaire off the internet is 0.02%. You know what I'm saying? So our youth are looking at the avenue the way our youth are looking at the internet as an avenue to make money, as the way some of us used to look at sports when we were kids, to say, oh, I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna play basketball, I'm gonna play football, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And somebody had to sit us down and tell us that harsh reality, like, hey, you might be good at whatever your sport is, but what's your backup plan? Because there is no guarantee that you're gonna make it to the NFL. There's no guarantee you're gonna make it to the NBA. There are no guarantees. There's all type of shit that happens. You could be good as fuck, but then you get hurt. Those fluke shit happens. I know my freshman year at FAMU, I was getting ready to walk on to the FAMU football team, going killing the mat drills, and then fuck around and tell my lateral meniscus tendon. Knee swell up this fucking big. I remember I couldn't get out of bed one day. Like, I went to the school, went to the training. Miss A looked at me, she's like, oh, on scholarship, so I can't really technically treat you. So I'm like, cool, I go to my doctor. Doctor tell me what's going on. Tell me I never passed NFL physical. And I was like, shit. There was that dream. Next thing you know, dope boy fresh. But it's a pipe dream that our kids are chasing right now that needs to be addressed. And there's nothing wrong with understanding the art of production and being a cameraman and those types of things, because if those are real career paths, those are real legit career paths. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about is our youth that's going to look at, I need to go viral, I need to get 1 million likes. Those are the motherfuckers that I'm talking about. The youth that say, hey, I want to be a cameraman, I want to understand how to edit and be a producer and all that shit, go for it, because they will always have a job. These jits that are trying to go viral off of challenges and doing dumb shit, it's a shelf life for that, my boy. Baby girl, eventually your titties ain't gonna be that perky. Everybody ain't rich enough to be Dolly Parton and just getting plastic surgery every year to look the same. Dolly Parton Dolly Parton is taking a break from her residency in Vegas because our doctors told her she needs to rest. 80-something-year-old Dolly Parton is now being told she needs to take a break. This lady has been on tour since she was fucking in her teens. Think about that. Dolly Parton put in a lot of work. These kids ain't thinking about the work that it takes. Dolly Parton put in work since she was in her teenage years to her 90s, building her empire. These kids think you're going to get 1 million likes on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, and then that's going to be it. Any kid that I talk to now, I pick their brain. I ask them what their interests are. And if they got interests, I'll try and do my best to kind of guide them, nurture them. Like, hey, well, you thought about this. This is how you can try to get a little better, get more information, get more information on that. But if they kind of lost or they don't understand it, get your ass a trade. Get a trade. Do not be out here without a way to make money, Because what we see a lot of is our youth, when they don't have any skills to monetize, they sit around and be bullshit. That's where the YNs come from. That's where YN culture come from. YNs ain't nothing but a bunch of young niggas that ain't got no skills to monetize. So they sit around somewhere. One or two of them, a handful of them might be hustling some shit. But when you see a group of YNs, all of them ain't selling drugs. I'll tell you that right now. All of them ain't got no bomb. It's way too many of them. It's just simple logic. Just hear me out. You got 10, 15 YNs sitting in a circle. All of them got the same dope. When a customer come up, who gonna get the sale? Or they all gonna get one or two sales a day. That ain't no fucking money. So when I tell you, like, only a handful of them really get money in that circle, when you see a bunch of YNs together, it's only a handful of them that got the jouet going. There's only a handful of them that got real hustle. You know, for the most part, it's a bunch of young motherfuckers that ain't got no skill sets that just sit around letting day go by. So that's why I say, before you end up sitting around with that, go get a skill. Go get a trade. The AC man makes a whole lot of money in Florida. We may not have heaters. You may not do a lot of heater repair. But boy, if you can keep an AC running year-round in the state of Florida, you will keep some money in your pocket. But then again, you got to go there and learn. You got to go there and sit down and allow somebody to teach you, which is another thing that the youth is not really apt to, because some of them don't think they should have to listen. Oh, I Google that. I already knew that. I ain't got that. No, little Negro, you need to listen, because this old man is going to show you how not to get electrocuted. This old man is going to show you how to build something that ain't no video on the internet for. They're going to show you tips and tricks and ins and outs to where you not out there all day, where you could turn a 4-hour job into an hour-and-a-half job. But that starts with learning, going to learn something, which our youth are not putting value on. And it's not just college education. I'm talking about any type of fucking learning. Any type of learning, excuse me. Any type of learning. From just my main thing is I want these kids to get trades. College is cool, but man, trades is where it's at. Hello, Serena. You're new to my stream. Welcome. Don't drop no weird shit in the chat, and don't do no spamming or advertising. You good to go. Besides that, crash the fuck out. Ugh. Beliefs. What's your beliefs? Beliefs as in what? Let's be a little specific. I am not a broad type person. When you ask me a question, be a little bit more specific. Give me an example, or what are you asking me? Let me give that a couple minutes before I move on to my next topic, because I want to get into this soft bigotry shit. All right, so Serena, while you figuring out how you want to try and pose your question, let me tell you right now, I'm a very chill dude, so please don't, I'm not like crazy or nothing. Political beliefs as in like anarchist, conservative, liberal, fascist, monarchist, etc. Serena, I'm American. I'm a good old-fashioned American. I was born in America. That's what I identify. That's my political belief. My political belief is American. That is my political belief. I understand the labeling system of political parties in America. When I first stepped into the arena in regards to voting, when I first registered, I stayed independent. I am American. This party system that we have in America is really fucked up. And why it's fucked up can be a conversation for another day. But I try not to get too bogged down into the labels of it, especially right now. Especially right now, we got a testy political climate, and individuals are just they're acting fucking stupid. Let me just say that they're fucking being stupid and not just looking at what's going on in front of their fucking eyes. So I identify as an American. I am an old-fashioned, born American. Speaking of Americans, America has a problem with bigotry. And firstly, I want anyone that's hearing my voice right now to stop using the word racism. I'm going to lean in a little bit for this one here. Do not use the word racism anymore. What we see in America, while we may feel that it has racist undertones, racist motivations, be racial in nature, by definition, most of what people try and pass off as, oh, that's being racist, you're being racist, it doesn't meet the textbook definition of racism. But if you look at the textbook definition of bigotry, they might have got something. And it's very simple in how people are able to avoid it, because technically it's not racism. A lot of what people try and point at as racism is not the textbook definition of racism, but it is a textbook definition of bigotry. But you guys don't say bigotry, so you give the person an out because they are like, I'm not racist, I'm not racist. And they're thinking, I hope the motherfucker don't say bigotry. I hope they don't bring up bigotry. Bigotry is when you feel as if one race or entity or side or whatever is better than the other. That's the lamest definition of it. You may not hate the other party, or the other people, but you're gonna do whatever you can to elevate your people. You think your people are better than everybody else. Point blank, period. You may not want to kill. You may not want to do harm. You may not want to just fuck somebody up, but you're like, you know what? I'm for my own. And I understand that viewpoint because I've seen it a lot. And it took me to be a grown man to understand the difference between racism and bigotry, because that's what I was seeing. It was giving me a little bit of heartburn as coming up. And I was like, technically it's racism, but this motherfucker's still fucked up. So remember, what we're seeing is a lot of bigotry. Thank you. Textbook definition of racism: prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism of an individual by an individual community, etc., against a member of race or ethnicity. I think this applies to isolatively apprehending folks of their skin color. Oh man, and what language they speak. The Supreme Court ruled that racial profiling is officially legal. I touched on that on the stream a couple weeks ago. I told you guys about some of the stuff that the Supreme Court was doing, because the Supreme Court is the other entity that's supposed to keep the president in check, but they're not doing that. What we see is soft bigotry. And take, for instance, There are some people within the conservative movement, right leaning, the Republicans, if you will, that feel like black people and brown people are the scum of the earth and they should be wiped off this fucking planet. There are also some people within the GOP, the right leaning conservative party, that they don't feel that they should be black and brown should be wiped off the face of this earth, but they're also like, I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible for slavery. Why do I have to pay for it? Like, I didn't do anything. I didn't own any slaves. So why? What's the big deal? That's soft bigotry. But what happens is that soft bigotry is in the same household of the wide open racism. So one, it get confused because people look at it like, well, they hanging with them, and it's like, they're hanging together, but they're not the same motherfuckers. But that soft bigotry is giving shade and cover to that hard R, if you get what I'm saying. Because the soft bigotry covers up for the hard R. And the soft bigotry also gives the hard R a way out. Because people will look at the soft bigotry and they'll get that as the face of the right, and they'll try and be like, oh, well, they just don't, they and try and act like there ain't some super racist motherfuckers behind them that they're not saying nothing to. Because the soft bigotry doesn't say anything to the hard R. The soft bigotry just ignores the hard R and be like, well, you know, no matter how vile of a statement we hear from Donald Trump, we'll hear conservatives say, oh, he was just joking. That's that soft bigotry trying to cover up for the hard R in real time. Whoa, man. Serena says, I was born and raised in the far right household where they had the Confederate flags and had neo-Nazis over with Nazi flags at my place. I find their behavior absolutely disgusting myself. My father is the type of person who uses a hard R. I am left-wing before you ask. Cool. Hey, everybody's welcome here. I don't give a damn. People who think prejudice is dead are wrong. Well, I'm sorry that you had to grow up in that type of household and experience that. Hopefully one day that your parents or whoever, your household and your family, they change their viewpoints. But I 100% agree that prejudice is still alive and well in America. Bigotry is alive and well in America. Racism is alive and well in America. When I was in high school, I was told that they weren't wearing robes like that anymore. They were wearing business suits. Now they aren't even teaching the kids anything about that in school. Think about that. My generation, I'm 41 years old. We were taught to be on the lookout for it across the spectrum because it had morphed and changed. Now, our kids can't even be taught about this stuff in school. Why not? If you don't know your history is bound to repeat itself. We had a social studies teacher here in South Florida that I talked about it last week, and I'll give you guys an update. The social study teacher that was here at Everglades High School in Broward County that went on a rant in his classroom saying that black kids were taught to hate white kids has officially been suspended by the Broward County School Board. They went in and did a preliminary look. Said, hey, on the surface, ain't looking good. Just sit down. We're gonna do a little bit deeper dive. And yeah, this isn't the first time we've actually got in trouble. The first time he got in trouble was back in, I think, 2018. He made a Facebook post on one of his former. He made a comment on one of his former. He made a post on one of his former students' Facebook, talking about some disparaging comments. I won't repeat that stuff because it's just disparaging as fuck. And now he's been suspended. So And you'll say I take credit for that, but yeah, he's sitting down. But that's what I mean when I say the soft bigotry, because he was trying to pose his discussion as I, I don't even know what the fuck he was trying, like that was bigotry in his best. He was trying to basically say that black kids taught to hate white kids. He was pushing that in his classroom. And when the student pushed back on that and was like, hey, that's not how I was raised, he kicked the student out. And when she left the class, said, hey, the ignorant black kid doesn't know what she's talking about. You're saying that black kids are taught to hate white people, and a black kid in your class told you that's not how she was raised, and you tell her, a black kid, that she don't know what she was talking about. This is the type of shit that's pushed under the veil of bigotry. This is the type of shit that happens. So this is why I say the soft bigotry has to, be addressed in America. We have a problem with it. So anybody and everybody that hears this statement, please remember to replace the word racism with bigotry. When you start calling bigotry for what it is, people start to clam up, because you give them an out when you call what they're doing racist, because racist has a certain power structure involved with it. Bigotry is on an individual level. Bigotry is, you don't necessarily want to do me any harm or kill me, but bigotry is, hey, you still think white people should be elevated over black people. That's bigotry. So stop calling these people racist and call this shit bigotry as it should be called out. And I get racist. Saying racist is going to get the attention. Saying racist is going to get you the wow factor. Saying racist is going to get people to click on that shit. But we need to be specific with some of the stuff that we're addressing and call this bigotry out for what it is, because that's exactly what we're seeing out here. Bigotry, and it's fucking up. It's fucking us up. Speaking of bigotry, I want to talk about a concept that I don't think a lot of people realize is a thing. And once I really sat down and thought about how I wanted to present this topic, I realized that the spectacle that this thing is ain't nothing but new age spectacle that was surrounding hangings back in the day. Back in the day, I won't give a specific time period, when Jim Crow South back when Jim Crow South was still a thing and they would hang black people, hangings were a fucking spectacle. That's where picnic came from. They used to pick a nigga and hang him. And they would have food, vendors would come out. It would be a whole event. The town square would be packed full of motherfuckers watching this hanging. And it was a social event because white people would want to see how that person struggled, or if they want to be defiant when they in their last moments, or they were going to, try and just make it, like they wanted to see the reaction of the black person as they were going through that process up until they were unfortunately hung. Rage bait or rage shit that was, I call it rage porn or rage corn if we want to be. I don't say the trendy and catchy shit that these content creators say when they're trying to get around the censors. The shit is rage porn, and I don't mean actual sexual intercourse. What I mean when I say rage porn is that white America loves to see black people riled up and angry. They want to get a reaction out of you. That's where the passive aggressive shit comes from. When you see a motherfucker telling you something, like Charlie Kirk was a pro at the passive aggressive shit, saying little veiled passive aggressive statements that were meant to try and trigger or get a person's reaction. Somewhere in the deep, dark part of the dominant society's psyche is this little pleasure factor that they get off on seeing black and brown people all riled up and angry and shit. That's why when you see some of these people on the internet, they'll purposely say shit to you to try and get you riled up. When you see some of these people that are going around like was it the free debaters or something, some free thinkers, the fake Charlie Kirk motherfuckers that went to Tennessee State. They went there with their cameras, all with the intention to get a motherfucker riled up so they could get views and likes. When you look at their page, the highest rated video was that TSU reaction, because they tell, oh, we got kicked off the black school campus. We just wanted to have a peaceful dialogue. And so many people clicked on that because they wanted to see it. And then all it was the police saying, hey, you don't have a permit to be here. The black students didn't run them off. The police said, hey, you don't have a permit to be here, so you have to go. But what they put on the internet was, hey, I'm going to get a shit ton of likes and views if I put, hey, the black students ran us off. Because a lot of white people clicked on that because they wanted to see the black people run them off. Rage porn is a thing. These individuals are sick in the fucking head. They like to see black people and brown people mad. I unfortunately have dealt with it for a long time, so I'm adept to not reacting to every little thing. Actually, I will, but my reaction is a trained reaction. My reaction is a reaction that I worked on over the years. It's taken me a long time to get it mastered. My reaction when a motherfucker tell me some passive aggressive shit, they were trying to get me off my square and get me a little angry and see the angry black man come out, is a laugh. It ain't even a full laugh. It's a and that little shake, that little head shake, that little oh man, you ought to see their face when I hit him with that. Fuck you, Neffner. They get so mad. And I look at them in the eyes and I be want to say, gotcha, bitch. Did your own trick on you. Because I refuse to let the motherfucker have my happiness. You cannot have that. You cannot have my happiness. Yeah, it is a power trip. It's a power trip. They want to see people mad. Trans people too. I'm gonna throw you in that too, Serena. They want to see y'all get all mad and showing that. Because I swear they tried to throw that shooter on y'all before they even knew what was going on. I always thought it was weird that the Charlie Kirk shooter's grandmother, immediately after the shooting, she was saying that the whole entire family was Republican. She couldn't think anywhere in the history of the family and find a damn Democrat. And then a couple days later, Cash Patel wants to come out. Oh my God, yeah. We spoke to his family and he was dating a trans person. And they were trans and they was trans. I'm like, you don't think, man, grandmama knew you was fucking a trans? Grandma said that she couldn't find a motherfucking liberal or Democrat anywhere in the fucking family. And this man's supposedly living with a trans person. They were trying to put that shooter on y'all quick, fast, and her too. They always trying to vilify a motherfucker. When you look at some of these articles online, you find out that whenever the Republicans have a mass gathering of some sort, like the Charlie Kirk funeral or the RNC National Convention, the grinder shit just goes astronomical in those areas when they are having mass gatherings. So being that they project a lot of anti-homosexual and anti-trans shit. It might be a whole lot of them over there. I'm willing to bet that Laura Loomer is trans. I don't know. I and this is not a shot at the trans community. I just think Laura Loomer, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. I won't go that far and say Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks she's just bad body as fuck, but Laura Loomer, I don't fucking know, lady. I think you're projecting and trying to mask some shit. Think Laura Loomer might be their little play toy that they like to play with. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. Let's pivot a little bit because I'm starting to get into some shit that might get me kicked off the internet. What else we got? James Comey got indicted. For those that don't know, James Comey was the FBI director that went after Trump. And when Trump got in office, Trump said that he was going to go after people that went after him. But before I get to James Comey's indictment, I want to get to why they wanted to go after James Comey in the first fucking place. Well, back in 2018, I think it was 16, excuse me. Former CIA director John Brennan and ex-FBI director are being investigated for potential criminal conduct related to the 2016 Trump-Russia collusion probe. I'm going to fast forward and just go ahead and say this has something to do with Hunter Biden's laptop. They are trying to revive Hunter Biden's laptop fiasco, y'all, by saying that James Comey lied about authorizing another FBI official to leak information to the press about certain things. They're trying to say that he's lied because after he testified before, Senate committees and all that shit, he found out that, hey, a certain individual had leaked some information, but that was after he had testified. So he had knowledge of what he had testified about after the fact. And they're trying to say, hey, you lied under oath. The interesting thing about this whole thing is that there's a 5-year statute of limitations window for stuff like this. That statute of limitation window closes tomorrow. The initial prosecutor that Trump appointed to go after James Comey said, hey, we don't have enough to go after James Comey. Trump said, no, go after James Comey. He said, no, we don't have enough to go after him, bro. This is going to be like an embarrassment for me as a prosecutor because I'm going to be looked at crazy because this case is going to fall apart and I'm going to be the one holding it. Go after James Comey. Trump got rid of Buddy, put a lady in there, and she filed the paperwork to go after James Comey. Unfortunately, the internet is a real thing, and we could pull up the paperwork itself. So I like, y'all know I like to actually look at real shit. So I went and pulled up the actual legal document so you guys can see what it is. And also, the other reason why I do this for those that are new to the chat is because I'll pull up real information. I've pulled up bills. When I did the breakdown of the big beautiful bill, oh my god, I didn't want to do that, but I broke down the whole goddamn big beautiful bill. Broke down the whole entire state of Florida budget because I want you guys to see that this type of stuff is accessible to you as everyday human beings. We can get to this shit. You can look up some of the shit that they're talking about. And when we're talking about the James Comey indictment, this is the reason why the first prosecutor said, hey, we shouldn't do this. First of all, this damn indictment is 2 pages. 2 fucking pages. I could pull up my hearing for a traffic infraction and show you that hearing was longer than 2 fucking pages. That paperwork was longer than 2 goddamn pages for a traffic infraction. And you talk about a criminal indictment against a federal fucking official. It's 2 pages long? Really 1.5? Count 1 says, on or about September 30th, 2020 in the Eastern District of Virginia, the defendant James R. Comey Jr. did willfully and knowingly make a materially false, fictitious, and fraudulent statement in a matter within the jurisdiction of the legislative branch of the government of the United States of America by falsely stating to a U.S. senator during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing that he, James B. Comey Jr., had not authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in the news reports regarding an FBI investigation concerning person 1. We're not going to get into person 1, 2, 3, and all that shit, but just the gist of it. The statement was false because James A. Comey Jr. then and there knew he in fact had authorized person 3 to serve as an anonymous source in news reports regarding an FBI investigation concerning person 1. All violations of U.S. Code. Count 2. On or about September 3rd, 2020, in the Eastern District of Virginia, the defendant James R. Comey Jr. did corruptly endeavor to influence, obstruct, and impede the due and proper exercise of the power of the inquiry under which an investigation was being had before the Senate Judiciary Committee by making false and misleading statements before that committee. All in violation of Section 18 of the U.S. Code. That's it. That is it. This is the whole fucking indictment on James Comey. They told him already. The first prosecutor told him, boss, we ain't got enough to go after this man. Do it anyways. Boss, we ain't got enough to go after this man. Fired the man. Put a white woman in there and told her to do it, and she's doing it. I said on the stream last week that some white women have no backbone, and they basically are an extension of the power structure that they are associated with. This is what the fuck I was talking about. We had a white man that told him, hey, boss man, we don't have enough to do what you asking for. This is not going to work. He threw the white man out his way and put a white woman there. Why? Because he knows white women, some of them are an extension of the power structure that they're associated with. And whatever that power structure or their husband tells them to do, they're going to follow. They're going to do it. He didn't have to worry about another white man challenging him and saying, well, I don't think we can do this, because a white woman is going to do it. Before this came out, what he told Pam Bondi, hey, Pam, it's time to start going after my political opponents. What is Pam Bondi starting to do? Go after Donald Trump's political opponents. Why? And trust me, I understand my statement sounds fucked up. To say that some white women are just an extension of the power structure that they're associated with. But am I lying? Am I fucking lying? The proof is in the pudding. Trump fired the white man that wouldn't go after James Comey and put a woman there because, hey, she gonna go do it. If it falls on her, if it crumbles in her lap, it crumbles in her lap. But she's gonna do it because he told her to do it. Talk about weaponization of the government. Trump talked all that shit during his first term about weaponization of the government, and what does he turn around and do? Weaponize the government. God damn me. Speaking of weaponization weapons, firstly, rest in peace and thoughts and prayers to all the families and loved ones that were affected by this horrendous church shooting in Michigan. Secondly, all I have to say is another one. Another angry white man committing an act of domestic terrorism in the United States of America. The man shot up a church and then burnt it. Kids ain't safe from angry white men. They shooting up shit to kids, and they fucking the kids too. When Tim Tebow went viral for that clip talking about the parents, like the dads, like these men are fucking up their kids. Tim Tebow is not doing missionary work in the slums. He ain't in the hood. Tim Tebow is an evangelical if I ever seen one. He's talking about white men molesting their own fucking kids. These white men are fucking their kids. They shooting up churches. They shooting up fucking. When is America's gonna get the fucking idea that angry white men are the biggest threat to America? Last week, we had one fucking shit up. Week before last, I think about 2 weeks ago, I went down the line of every fucking person that has committed an act of political violence in America in the last 20 years. We had one black person. One. Uno. One black person. We had a couple left. We had a couple left-leaning motherfuckers, but overwhelmingly, thank you. Oh, I'm saying over 3/4 of the political violence in America has been committed by white, right-leaning white men, angry white men. 97. Thank you for that. 97% of these motherfuckers are white men. Fucking America up. When are we gonna get the picture? And I like how the news when they got this motherfucker's DMV photo. They ain't gonna get his Facebook picture. I know if you go on his Facebook, he probably got a bunch of hunting rifles and shit on his fucking post. He skinning deers, Confederate flag, all type of fuck shit. But they gonna get his fucking driver's license picture. That's not the face of the left right there. I'm gonna tell you that right now. The face of domestic terrorism in America has a usual suspect. These motherfuckers right here, angry white men, usual fucking suspect. Sir, you match the description. Sir, you match the description. Book him, Dano. I don't know when America's gonna wake up and realize it. If America even cares to wake up and realize, to be honest with y'all, I don't think America really cares to address the real issue of it. I don't think America really cares to address the issue of it. One of the issues that is keeping America from addressing the issue that we have with angry white men fucking America up is black elitism. You know, some of y'all might think like, how the fuck is black elitism? Oh shit, I'm gonna drop my shit on my glass table. This is a glass table. I can't drop this metal light on this glass table. Saw they racially profile black people who don't hardly do any violence. Man, listen, you missed the stream last week or 2 weeks ago when I did it. But I broke down every act of political violence in America. over the last 20 years. I didn't want to go back to slavery and all that other shit. You know, I wanted to keep it kind of contemporary, keep it new, keep it up here. 20 years. One black person. And then having a conversation with one of my partners offline, he gave me another one that I had to reluctantly include in there just cause. And I had to include the cop that went on the rampage in California, or the West Coast wave was that the black cop that went on the rampage and was killing cops. I was like, you know what? I'll throw him in there too. You know, it's really check me YouTube. It's one on my I forget the date, but I broke it down. The whole list is on my YouTube. The live is uploaded on the political crash out on YouTube. The political crash out across all other shit. You can see it's scrolling across. I've been scrolling across the bottom the whole time. IG, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Facebook, all that stuff. But it's up on there. But in 20 years, we have black people. The rest of them, white. No women. None. Not one woman. Not one fucking woman. Not one. Not a biologically born woman, not a trans woman, not an adopted woman, not a Asian woman, not a black woman, not a white woman, not a woman, period. All men. Men. Just men. All fucking men. But to get back to what I was saying, one of the reasons why we have a problem addressing it is because of black elitism. There's some people in the black bourgeoisie that think they are better than, you know, other black people, and they don't mind seeing some black people suffer. You know what? I'm gonna say that one for another day because I want to give some real justice to that. And it's 8:18 already, and I don't really want to be on stream all night because, as I say before, and as I got listed on all my other shit, I make content. I'm not a content creator. And if I get rambling on black bourgeoisie and black elitism, I think that's a good topic for me to touch on a different one. Because I really wanted to talk about wrap up with because we've been talking about a lot of government shit and government stuff, and I don't want to just pivot into black elitism with no real segue, because the segue that I had built up was in regards to what happens when the government is not there for us anymore. Yeah. You know, cigarette city. Well, I've never been to St. Louis, so I can't speak to it. I'm from South Florida, and in the free state of Florida, as our governor likes to say, we got some good old boys. We actually got Florida crackers down here, technically. Now, some people may say I'm saying a derogatory term when I say Florida crackers, but it's not, because if you're from Florida, there are actually people that were classified as Florida crackers. They were cowboys. And we still have some remnants of Florida crackers here today in the state of Florida. May not be a lot, but we still got some Florida crackers running around. I love it anytime I get to talk about Florida crackers because I love my Florida crackers. I laugh because I so badly be wanting to make a clip with that whenever I be talking about that shit, but I ain't gonna do it. I'm a troll, but I'm not an asshole. I'm an asshole. I'm a troll, but I'm not just egregious with it. But one thing I want to wrap up with is that there's a big push across the nation to roll back and limit a lot of government services. And there are a lot of ways that the government impacts the everyday American's life that I don't think the everyday American is aware of. I also don't think the everyday American is aware that if some of these cutbacks that are being proposed happens, whether it be on the federal level or state level, their quality of life is going to go through, like it's going to drop. A lot of people just look at the Medicaid part of it and think that since they may not get Medicaid or Medicare, that it has nothing to do with them. There are other ways that the government impacts the everyday American's life that don't got shit to do with Medicaid, that don't got shit to do with food stamps. So while food stamps and Medicaid get a lot of the attention when we talk about government cuts and government assistance, the government impacts people's lives in more ways than they can understand. I always like to give the example. How much does it cost to deliver a child in America? The average person does not know. I got a 16-year-old daughter, and I'll be honest with you. The only reason I know that it costs around $15,000 to deliver a child in America is because I seen the itemized bill on my insurance plan. You know, I have private insurance. My daughter was born on private insurance, and I got that bill, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I shit a whole brick. Cause I was looking at that bill, I was looking at that paper, I got that bill in the envelope, I was looking, and it had two columns, and I ain't pay attention to what was going on at the top column. I seen in one column, you know, it had a small percentage. In the other column, it had a big percentage, a big number. And at the bottom of it, one of them columns had like 15, damn to 20,000. I had a whole lot of fucking zeros in that number. Like all together came up damn to 20,000. Like I got two bills. But on that first bill, I got like 15 racks in one column. And in the other column, it had like 250, something like that. And I'm like, looking, I'm like, what the fuck? 15 and 2, what the fuck? I got it. But then I looked at the top. That first column said your portion. That second column said portion covered by insurance. I was like, whew, I paid $250. I paid for it. I paid for it. I paid for it. I paid for it. But that 15 racks, I was like, oh my God. And then we got the second bill. I was like, y'all want 5 more racks? Like, what the fuck? But then again, like I said, I was young and I was hasty, but I was savvy enough, and I've had older people in my life that taught me the value of having insurance. You may not use insurance every day, but when you need that shit, it come through. It come through on the come through, goddamn me. But when my daughter was born, it came fucking through. You hear me? But if you don't have private insurance, you're gonna get that bill. Or for the mass majority of people, or down for the city, wrong percent. That was Sheila Sheriff's Conference. That was one district in Florida. One district, matter of fact, it's on this paper right here. Excuse me. Two in 5 births in Florida are covered by Medicaid. So out of every 5 births in the state of Florida, 2 of them motherfuckers are covered by Medicaid. Think about that. And I was looking for, she gave me a percentage on here too. Because it was specifically by her district. There's a percentage in there. I was like, what the fuck? But yes, 2 in 5 births in the state of Florida are covered by Medicaid. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that. And we talk about food assistance. Now we ain't gonna let you die. They got food banks, stuff like that. But even the food banks are starting to kind of dry up when it comes to getting money, getting food out there. Government subsidies. People don't know about this type of stuff here. People don't know that there are literally businesses that the government subsidies literally keep them afloat. They don't give a fuck about the money that they get from the public. They wait on that government check. They don't understand how government really works behind the scenes. Government subsidies roughly 20% of your meat costs. If you didn't have that, a $10 amount of meat would cost roughly $12 or more, depending on the degree of inflation. So that's what I'm saying. Like I said, behind the scenes, people don't understand this type of stuff happens behind the scenes. And what happens when those subsidies are no longer there? And you're already paying more for healthcare. And you haven't gotten a raise in God knows how long. But hey, let's cut property taxes and give myself another bigger bill. So when people talk about cutting government taxes and services, they're gonna make it sound very good and jazzed up. But I always ask yourself before you be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Ask yourself, what does this cover? If I have to, if you know, I know these taxes go to a particular service, go to a particular entity, go to something. And it's not just going to somebody's pocket. I know a lot of motherfuckers like to say, especially in the black community, oh, they just putting the money in their pocket, man. They just taking that money. These motherfuckers are not taking the money. These people are taking the money and paying first responders to respond to emergencies in your neighborhood. They're taking the money and cutting the grass on the fucking highway. You imagine what would I-95 look like without the grass cut? More so, think about this. We'll take a community level. In the city that you live in, if they don't have beautification money to take care of the roadways, pave the roads, and cut the grass, things like that, and they would go to you and say, hey, you know what? We don't have this pot of money anymore because of the cuts to property taxes. So we're going to go door to door now. We're asking all of you guys to put in. You realize you end up paying more? Like, it's this type of stuff that happens that I don't think people are aware of. So when you talk about government cuts, you're actually cutting yourself. And you're absolutely right, Serena. This country would burn. And I'm a God-loving American. And I want the best for my country. So when I speak on certain things, I'm not trying to spew hatred or division or dissent or anything like that. I'm looking at shit that I'm seeing right in front of me happen. And I want more people to wake up because awareness changes these things. I'm gonna take credit for the Everglades teacher getting put on suspension. Because the Miami News Times had posted that article a week before I made content on it. I made the video. That video got, I think, like 8,000 views on TikTok. And then through some backdoor channels, I got wind of some conversations that the teachers union was having with the Department of Education representative for the DOE, for the Department of Education chair, in regards to the chair monitoring teachers and school staff social media in regards to the whole Charlie Kirk situation. So you had teachers and staff members in the Florida school system being censored at the same time that a teacher was going on a rant in the classroom saying that black kids were being taught to hate white people. So I made some more content about it on Facebook. And I tagged the Broward School Board. And it got some traction. And while they never responded directly to me, about 24 hours went by, and yeah, we've seen the suspension come out. Now, because I seen over the weekend that like all of the content on YouTube and TikTok and all of what I did about that, it blew up again. I'm like, why this shit got another push? What caused it to get another push? Well, the big major news outlets in South Florida are covering that story today. So when they start talking about it and people going on the internet, guess what content comes up? This guy's. But if you don't open your mouth, people think you're okay with bullshit. And I'll never mind being the guy that opens my mouth. I don't do this for money. I do this to try and make this country that we live in a better place. I do this that people are aware of what's going on around them. There's a lot of bullshit out there, and I don't want nobody to be wrapped up in bullshit because it's easy to get wrapped up into emotional shit. Because we're an emotionally driven society right now. And I always bring the logic. I don't give a damn if you disagree with me or not. I really don't care if you agree with me. I just want you to think. That's all I ever want people to do is think. Think. Process your thoughts. Don't just be blindly following behind some shit. Not even me. And I know some people that may not used to hear a person get on the internet and say, "Oh, shit, challenge me too, motherfucker." Like, look up the shit I be talking about. Make sure I'm saying some true shit. And if I'm ever lying to you, call me out. Get in my motherfucking chat and hold me accountable. Call that shit out. Because I tell you, this is what I'm going to end. Whenever I be talking to people, they always get mad at how I say some shit. Man, you ain't have to say it like that. Man, why you have to say it, man? Fully knowing I don't give a damn how I said it. And I let them know I don't give a damn how I said it because my only response ever will be, did I lie to you? Was I lying? Did I not tell the truth? And oh man, it was true, but there is no but. Because one thing that we forgot as a society is that the truth is sometimes an ugly motherfucker. And what I'm saying is not meant to hurt people's feelings. While I do recognize it may challenge a person's comfort level sitting in bullshit, it may challenge a person's mindset, it may challenge a person to think. But like I said a minute ago, that's all I want you to do is think. That's all I want you to do is think a little bit. Think a little bit. Just smidge it. Just, that much. Just that much right there. That's all. All right, y'all. We've been out here for a while. It's 8:30. I'm finna go get myself together, get in bed. OG, whatever you want to call me. I'll be in the bed by 10, y'all. I get up early in the morning. I have a simple concept that drives my physical fitness. I'm gonna wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna work out. Only because I gotta do something for myself before I do something for anybody else in this fucking world. And me working towards my health, that's something for myself. When I go to work, when I be a father, when I be a community advocate, when I do all the shit I be doing stuff for other people. When I work out, that's for me. And I have to do something for myself before I do something for anybody else in the day. Wake up, pray, drink some water, eat me a banana, and I'm in the gym. Because I got to get that workout in for myself. And to answer your question, Serena, no, I do not have a Discord, but now that you say something, I may have to try and think about doing that now. In fact, yeah, I got a little time before I get in bed. I may look into Discord, see what it takes to get my Discord going. I also need to do some more on my Kick. My Kick community has been suffering. Twitch guys are fucking. Twitch holds me the fuck down. Twitch always holds me down with the commentary and the chat, and I'm monetized on Facebook. But Twitch, y'all be showing the fuck out. And the crazy thing is, I have no promotional shit on Twitch. I don't even think I got Twitch. I don't think, unless I gotta look at it again. It's been at least a month since I looked at that Twitch page, but there's nothing promotional whatsoever on my Twitch. And Twitch is always coming through with the views and the fucking chat. So shout out to IRL. This is in real life. This is me in my garage. This is really my fucking garage with my mango picker and extended trim hedge battery operated tree hedger, grill, lawn tools and shit. This motherfucker right here, that shit. If you work on your car, you do any type of work on your vehicle, you need one of these motherfuckers right here. You need one. As the best, I think like $60 or $70. If you change oil, you will never have to get on any vehicle. You literally, man, oh, man. And you can no, you can't see the two. They look, man. I use them, man. Listen, oil change, brake fluid changes, transmission fluid, man. Any fluid exchange. That pneumatic fucking pump, that shit literally sucks the fucking fluid out of everywhere. And you don't even have to get underneath the car. You literally, whatever valve you check that shit fluid from, that shit will suck it, the fluid straight out of that fucking valve, that opening. I done had that shit over there. I done had that shit probably about 5-6 years now. I promise you, that's one of the best gadgets I think I've ever purchased for like working on a vehicle. You know, I got an OBD2 scanner, but even this fucking scanner that reads the codes and shit, this motherfucker's valuable. But that motherfucker right there, this costs more than that. But I love that way more than I love this. This little scanner I use, plug it up into your car, and it tell you all the codes that ever pop up on your dashboard. But that motherfucker right there. So yeah, this is in real life. This is real life. This is real life, y'all. So that's for the Twitch community, because on the Twitch side, I'm on this technically talking politics in real life. But I can never take y'all on a day-to-day with me through my real day, because I deal with sensitive shit, and I ain't trying to lose my job to get no fucking likes and views on the internet. Just be honest with y'all. I deal with people's lives and sensitive data, and I cannot put that on the internet. That would be totally inappropriate of me. Completely fucking inappropriate. But that's it for me on the stream, y'all. Thank y'all for chiming in today. As always, Facebook fam, love, appreciate you. IG, thank you, love, appreciate you. YouTube, love, appreciate you. Twitch, I fucking love y'all. I appreciate other platforms, but Twitch, fucking love y'all. That's it for today. Serena, looking through this Discord shit and trying to see how I can cause some good trouble across Discord. Matter of fact, I need to put some more shit on my Substack too. I got Substack, so I need to add Substack to this line too. Substack, for those that know or don't know, look in your app store. It's another situation, kind of like Twitter. Check it out. I'm on there too. Same old handle.